Greetings to everyone. This is Monali Vankar, and I am an associate professor at Gateway College of Architecture and Design, a conservation architect by profession, and also a PhD scholar at the Department of Architecture and Acoustics with Jamia Millia Islamia. I would like to congratulate Center for Management Studies of Jamia Millia Islamia to conduct this very pertinent conference on the international management systems, and also for giving me this opportunity to put my case about heritage. So I'm going to speak about exploring alternative funding mechanism for the heritage management of Delhi. So when we speak about the heritage management, let's first try to understand what is the quantum of this heritage that needs to be managed. So, owing to the glorious past of the capital, we know that the historic city of Delhi, it is interspersed with so many monuments which keep linking us with our past. To look at the numbers, there are about 3,355 properties as per my research, which are of significant value, and they keep adding to the testimony of the glorious past of the capital. And they can be classified broadly into protected, notified, and unprotected monuments. I will just in a while tell what these protected, notified, and unprotected classification really means. Before that, I would like to state that there are about 19 organizations, including government and non-government, which are mandated for the protection of the heritage of Delhi. Let's understand what protected or notified or unprotected mean. So the protected monuments and the quantum of protected monuments that we have out of 3,355 that I have just stated, there are 192 monuments that are under the category of protection, and about 3,000 that come under the category of notified monuments, and 90 that remain unprotected. Now, when I say protected, these monuments are protected either by the Archaeological Survey of India or the State Department of Archaeology. And both these departments have their own laws under which the protection is done. When we talk about the notified monuments, which are 3073 in number, and they really take about the huge space of out of the 3,355 monuments that we have. So they are under these four departments: New Delhi Municipal Council, guided by their own act of 1994. Few monuments are under Municipal Corporation of Delhi, guided by their Act of 1957. Few are listed by CPWD, and the others are listed and under the custodianship of Delhi Waqf Board. While 90 of the monuments are under no protection. So there is no government agency under or any act or law under which the protection of these monuments is happening. So looking at the condition, we can see that there are 6% of this plethora that are under the protected category, which is really very, very handful. And the notified, it takes the maximum amount, maximum space of the pie, and we know that they are under the protection of the four government bodies. And unprotected monuments, which are still waiting for some kind of custodianship, they occupy 3% of the total number of heritage monuments. To give a little bit of detail of how these protected monuments and the numbers and which the government body has, Archaeological Survey of India, they have 173 monuments and sites under them, while the State Department of Archaeology has 19. CPWD has 21, and one of the site complexes has another 39 buildings under it. Municipal Corporation of Delhi, it has notified 1,318 sites in two different lists at two different point of time period. And then we have New Delhi Municipal Corporation with 141 properties, and Delhi Waqf Board owns 1,593 properties, and 90 are the ones that are unprotected. In spite of such attractive number of 3,073 sites being protected or at least notified, we can say that this is not a very happy condition. And I will explain shortly what do I mean by that. So other organizations, out of the 19 ones that I was talking about, there are these organizations that take care of the Delhi heritage management. So Ministry of Tourism, National Culture Fund, National Monuments Authority, Delhi Urban Arts Commission, Delhi Cantonment Board, Delhi Development Authority, especially through its Delhi Urban Heritage Foundation, Shahjahanabad Redevelopment Corporation, Heritage Conservation Committee, Delhi International Airport Authority, Delhi Tourism and Transportation Development Corporation, World Monuments Fund, Intact Delhi Chapter, and Aga Khan Trust for Culture. So these are the remaining either of some of them are associated with government and they are government bodies, some are associated with the premier organizations like ASI, and some are absolutely independent national NGOs which take care of the heritage management system of Delhi. Coming to the status or of the active conservation project sites. So this data is after 2013, and I have kept 2013 as a benchmark because I am trying to explore corporate social responsibility as an alternative mechanism for protection of these sites. And this act had come into existence in 2013 and got its implementation from 2014. So that's why. So this status of conservation primarily pertains after 2013. So Archaeological Survey of India, it has 13 ongoing uh, conservation works on the 13 of the properties. State Department of Archaeology, there are 9 sites. CPWD, it claims that it is working on restoration of 2 of the buildings. But whether we call it conservation or not, that is another question. But we can go by what CPWD claims to. And this is the unfortunate situation of the notified monument, that none of the other corporations like the Municipal Corporation of Delhi or the New Delhi Municipal Council or the Delhi Waqf Board are taking care of their sites at all. So it's a really sorry state. Even as compared to the unprotected monuments. So out of 90 unprotected monuments, at least on 54 monuments, the work has already been conducted. And some of the projects are taken by the Intact Delhi chapter. So at least we can say that there is a little bit more happy condition of the unprotected monuments. Of course, there is no comparison between the numbers if we talk about 13 of ASI and 9 of State Department and 54 are unprotected, because they are of various scales and various significance and protection at the national and state level and unprotected, that all is there. But still, this is at least to let us know the statistics, and we can at least be sure that there is there is some kind of lack of mechanism of management that needs to be addressed, even if we take consideration of the statistics that are there. So if we see, there are only 78 number of properties on which conservation work is happening, and which amounts to only 2% of the total properties, that is 55 properties that we have. So it amounts to only 2% on which the conservation work is carried out. So it is a really very, very alarming state why conservation of so many sites is not happening, in spite of being notified or being identified as important at all the levels, at national level, at the state level, and at a level where the heritage of Delhi needs protection, and it has been identified by such huge departments of Delhi heritage management. The other organizations that I was talking about, they also are doing conservation in Delhi at their own. And premier is Ministry of Tourism, which has come up with a very interesting scheme of Adopt Heritage. And there are 8 sites, and these are ASI sites. So they are considered in the 13 that we have already seen in the previous slides. And National Culture Fund, it is working on at least identified 13 number of sites, on which some of the sites are ongoing, and at least NCF has identified that it will work in the near future. NMA has been working on 4 of the very important ASI sites and has prepared guidelines on them. DUAC, however, the conservation doesn't come under their purview, but still they have been very instrumental in providing guidelines on protection of the precincts, of heritage precincts. Delhi Cantonment Board, it also doesn't claim to have any heritage property. Delhi Development Authority, it has worked on 4 very important state level important heritage sites. It has worked with intact on that. SRDC, it has identified 7 very important heritage sites, but the bad luck is that they have only prepared conservation reports and no on-site conservation has happened. Conservation doesn't come under the purview of Heritage Conservation Committee. Delhi International Airport Authority, it doesn't have any monument as claimed. DTDC again doesn't have a purview of conservation as such, but interestingly, they have a CSR policy with them, so which is also underutilized. World Monuments Fund at present, it doesn't have any project in Delhi. The Intact Delhi chapter, it has conducted conservation of 54 sites. Out of that, 31 are unprotected. And Aga Khan Trust for Culture, who is responsible for the Humayun's tomb and the Nizamuddin Basti development, which is another very phenomenal example of so many agencies working together. So major issues. First, we have seen that first and the foremost is the lack of funding. And that is what all the departments will keep on saying, that our primary mandate is something else, so we cannot fund the heritage projects. We do not have enough funding, and hence there is a negligence towards the heritage. And because there is lack of funding, there is lack of human resource, and there is, on the whole, there is lack of management. Now, what I think is, if we fix this lack of funding, all the other things will fall in place. And how can we fix up this funding? We already have a solution. Now, in India, the Companies Act of 1956, it had got amended, and it has now included protection of national heritage and restoration in 2013. In its Schedule 7, where it says that protection of national heritage, art and culture, including restoration of buildings and sites of historical importance and works of art, setting up public libraries, promotion and development of traditional systems and handicrafts. So this is the kind of identification of heritage for the first time. And now we can say that we have a mechanism in place which can be literally used. And this is into effect from 1st of April 2014. But again, the sorry state is that there is no link between the two. So we know the problem is there of funding. We know that there can be a solution of having the private partners into this system of conservation, but yet there is a big gap between the two. Let's have a quick look at what is the status of corporate social responsibilities. If we try to look at the number of companies that have been participating in CSR in the worldwide scenario, this data, it shows that we have the number of companies that are participating in CSR, they are constantly growing. And the second chart, it shows the number of companies that are participating in CSR in Delhi. So both of them, they show that there is an increase in the numbers of companies. That means the CSR is actually having a momentum, and the momentum is increasing. So we can say that if you look at the nationwide scenario, there is a surge of 10% of companies participating every year, and it is increasing. And if we look at the CSR spent in Delhi, there also we can see that there is a very interesting surge that we can see. And the number of companies, if we compare to 2014 to 2018-19, it is more than double. So which means that it has the corporate social responsibility undertaken, seen by the companies. It's really getting a limelight, and people want to engage themselves in CSR. But now let us see what is the condition in Delhi in terms of amount spent. Even that is good. If we look at this, we can see that again the amount that is been spent from 2014-15 to 2018-19 is doubled, almost doubled. And which means that there are companies and big time companies who are participating in CSR. A quick look at how much the of these companies have been contributing for CSR for the art and culture segment, and we can see that it is a very sorry state. It is hardly, if we look at the case of 2014 and 15, it takes a negligible amount of money that was spent in CSR, but not spent in the art and culture sector. It got a little bit of increase in 15-16, again fell down in 16-17, then 17-18, and 2018-19, it really went up. And we can say that it was more than 6 crores. But if you look at the amount 6 crore as compared to the amount of 700 crores being spent in the CSR of Delhi, it is really negligible. And this condition can literally be improved if we try to bridge the gap by plugging in the CSR, by making this whole implementation of conservation and management of built heritage with appropriate mechanism of corporate social responsibility in its place. So this is the gap that the CSR will fill in. And as I stated, that once the lack of funds is fixed, the entire management system can fall in place. Now, I will not say that people have not, the organizations are not understanding the need. There are these corporations that are concerned with the major departments, and these corporations like DTDC, SRDC, they do have this mechanism of getting private companies into conservation. But somehow this, we cannot see it on ground. They are only at a policy level, and that is the area of concern. So I would like to end by saying that it really needs to be explored. What is the problem? Which organization can be made more effective in its implementation of CSR, and how this gap can be bridged by CSR between the lack of funds, and also to have private partners as co-owners of these heritage properties. Thank you so much. I would like to end now, and I would be very happy to have any questions. Thank you.